A garden between two worlds. Othamis, Lena Gokhale, in the lively suburb of Juhu, where the sea whispered secrets to those who would listen, two different worlds existed almost side by side. On one hand was Raga, a young, intelligent MBA graduate in his late 20s. He had recently launched a modest but promising startup and ethical supply chain consulting firm aimed at helping small manufacturers go green. He lived in a worn but well-kept one-bedroom kitchen flat in an old building that stood quietly amidst the taller, flashier towers. On the other side, behind high iron gates and manicured hedges, stood the luxurious 10,000 square feet bungalow of industrialist Vinod Mehra, a self-made millionaire and one of Mumbai's most powerful businessmen. There lived his daughter, Ragini, a radiant, spirited girl with a laugh that could turn heads and a charm that melted hearts. That evening in early March, the sun was slowly sinking, casting golden rays across the pavements of Juhu. Raga had just returned from a long investor pitch in Andheri and was sipping Nimbu Pani on his building's rickety balcony. Just then, his eyes fell across the street beyond the hedges, where music was faintly playing and laughter rang out like wind chimes. There she was, Ragini, dancing in the garden with her friends, her hair flying like petals in the wind, her smile brighter than the fairy lights strung on the trees. She was carefree, drenched in joy, everything he had not dared to dream of. But something shifted in him in that moment. That night, he dreamed of her. Over the next few weeks, Raga found himself walking by the bungalow more often on his way to the joggers park, the cafe, even to catch a rickshaw. Any excuse would do. Sometimes, he caught glimpses of her in the garden. Once even reading a book under a tree. But it wasn't until a Sunday morning that fate intervened. Raga was at a small cafe nearby, working on a proposal, when Ragini walked in with her friend. The place was packed. The only empty table was next to Raga's. Her friend nudged her toward it and went off to take a call. "Mind if I sit here?" she asked with a smile. "Please," he replied, barely hiding the flutter in his chest. They spoke only for 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes stretched like stardust, books, music, dogs, her passion for photography, his love for sustainability, a shared dislike of small talk. She introduced herself. He almost laughed, as if he didn't already know. He told her his name was Raga. Like a tune, she had said, amused. They met again, and again. Ragini was unlike the stereotype. Yes, she enjoyed her father's riches and the glitter of high society. but her soul craved real conversations, truthful moments, and quiet honesty. Raga was all of that, and he, for the first time, found someone who looked at him not as a man of modest means, but as a man with meaning. But love is never that simple. One evening, after they watched an open mic performance near Prithvi Theatre, Ragini dropped the bomb. "My father won't approve," she said softly. "He's already trying to match me with the son of his business partner." Raga's smile faded. "Then this is where it ends?" "No," she said, firm. "This is where it begins." The storm came soon. Vinod Mehra discovered the relationship. Raga was summoned, more like challenged, to his bungalow. The air inside was cold. The man behind the mahogany desk was colder. "What exactly are your intentions with my daughter?" he asked bluntly. "I love her," Raga said, meeting his gaze. "And I intend to spend my life earning her respect every single day." "Do you have a fortune?" "No," Raga said. "But I'm building one that lasts, not just for me, but for people like me." Vinod scoffed. "Love doesn't pay bills." "Maybe not," Raga said calmly. "But money doesn't guarantee love either." That night, Ragini packed a bag and left the bungalow. Not to run away, but to make a point. The news made rounds in their elite circles. Tabloids sniffed around. Gossip brewed, but through it all, Raga and Ragini stayed firm. Raga's startup unexpectedly landed a major contract after sustainable fashion label backed him. The business scaled, attracting angel investors impressed by his ethics and long-term vision. Within a year, he had opened a modern office in Bandra, hired a lean but talented team, and become a respected name in his niche. And then one morning, as Ragini stood at the new office balcony with a coffee in hand, Vinod Mehra walked in. He walked past the reception, past the cubicles, straight to his daughter. She turned, cautious. But he held out a small box. Inside was a set of silver jhumkas she'd once admired in Jaipur years ago. "I was wrong," he said. "And you were right. A man's worth isn't measured in square footage." Raga joined her side, surprised. Vinod looked at him. "If you still want to marry my daughter, I'll do the honors." 2 months later, under canopy of marigolds and fairy lights, in a beachside ceremony attended by friends, family, and strangers who had turned into admirers, Raga and Ragini were married. Their first dance wasn't a waltz or salsa. It was a simple, slow sway under the stars. 2 worlds had met, not collided, but blended, understanding that love, when true, finds a way even through iron gates and concrete walls. And as Ragini later wrote in a photo caption from their honeymoon in Coorg, we didn't fall in love. We grew into it. And like any good garden, it took time, sunlight, and trust.